Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Note Night in America. Glad to have you here. It is Monday night, August 27th. It's hard to believe that the year is 2/3 of the way done. We got literally just over 4 months left in the year. So if you are not progressing in your deals, progressing in your goals, don't worry. You still got some time left, but you got to get on your horse, get rocking and rolling. But anyway, I want to welcome you all to Note Night in America. Back to the Future Investing. That's the title of tonight's webinar. Before we dive into this stuff, we got some stuff to cover real fast. Very honored to be speaking this weekend at the Quest Expo, and thought I would do a little reshare of what my topic was that I spoke on stage as the Thursday afternoon keynote. So before we dive into that, welcome to Note Night in America, everybody. For you guys that and gals out there that are joining us for the first time, we do these webinars just about every Monday, as long as I'm not traveling or it's a holiday. This marks the 95th Note Night in America since I've been keeping track of that over the last 2.5 years. We've been doing one since 2011, though. But it's episode number 95 of Note Night in America. But anyway, who's on tonight? We got a lot of people that ask us who is on tonight. We have a variety of people. We've got note investors. Obviously, we have people that are investing in real estate. We have people looking to get into notes. Yes, these calls and webinars are recorded. Besides us live streaming it straight to Facebook, we also do record it and throw it on YouTube and Vimeo and all that stuff. You can always catch all the replays to Note Night in America by simply going to weclosenotes.tv. We also have the opportunity for you to listen to most of them on iTunes as well. For this last 8 months, we've been taking the Note Night in America episodes and throwing them on iTunes. So we have the Note Night in America podcast as well for you guys that are listening to this or watching this. If you miss it, you can always catch it. We've got the most recent last 2 weeks of episodes are in the process of being uploaded as we speak, but literally episodes 1 through 20 are on there for the year for you to take a look at as well. But anyway, just so you guys know, we have a very big goal here at weclosenotes.com. We have a 5-year goal to help educate and create 10,000 note investors. Why do we think 10,000? Because of a couple things. One, there's a small niche of distressed note investors out there right now, roughly probably less than 5,000. And we believe, based on what we see in the market taking place, specifically with tonight's webinar, that there'll be a lot of opportunity for people. So we've got a very, very big goal over the next 5 years to help, like I said, educate and create 10,000 note investors. We believe there's enough opportunity out there for us all to take advantage of and make a lot of money. Like I said, just came back from Dallas. Had an amazing couple days last Thursday, Friday with our Dallas Note Mastermind group. That is the group photo of everybody there except me. I was the one taking the photo, but absolutely just a joy to spend 2 amazing days, actually really 4 days. When you think about it, it's 2 days in a specific Note Mastermind group, and then there's 2 days this Saturday and Sunday at the Quest Expo. But lots of people there, over about 500 people at the Quest Expo, and it was exciting to see 150, 200 of our students be there over the last 2 days and just have an amazing time. Big shout out to Gail Villanueva and Bill Griesmeyer for winning the Social Media Superstar Awards. Big congratulations to Laura Bullock for winning the Most Improved Note Investor. And, of course, big shout out to Chris Savenia, who won the Note Investor of the Year at the event. So kudos to those 4 folks, but kudos to everybody that showed up. We just had an amazing time. And love all the love the vendors, love everybody that showed up. So if you'd like to find more about the Note Mastermind group, just shoot me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. We'll talk. I'll be glad to send you over some stuff and talk about it. But this last Mastermind event, though, marked our 20th Note Mastermind meeting, which is just crazy. We've been doing these since 2011 and just very blessed. Our 20th Mastermind meeting. We've come a long way from doing the first one in Davenport, Florida in 2011 with 9 people for 8 days. All right. Just really amazing amount of stuff that's going on, people closing deals and really making things happen. So big, though, we are literally just less than a month out, or actually just over a month out from Note Camp 6.0 taking place. So guys and gals, if you don't know, Note Camp is our big online note convention. We'll have 30 plus speakers over 3.5 days of content. We'll have 2 speaker sessions running most times, so you can watch one or jump over the other one. We'll have speakers in one room talking about topics for hour 15, and then the other room will have some deep dives, 2-hour plus sessions of people diving in and sharing a lot of great content, being much more specific in their, doing a deep dive into topics like bankruptcy and owner financing and raising capital. So really stoked about that. Ticket price is normally $5.99 right now. We are running a 50% off sale at $299.50. Go to notecamp.live and get signed up there. We expect to have somewhere close to 700 people, if not above that, for our 6th installment of Note Camp Live. And this special one's called Note Camp Labs with a deep dive. But kick off things on Thursday, September 27th at noon. We'll run till 5 o'clock, and then Friday and Saturday be 9 to 5, and Sunday be 9 to 2, 9 to 3. So excited about that. We have a kind of a special thing I'd like to let you guys know. I'm going to be headed out to Orlando next week, so pretty stoked. We're flying out Sunday to him, and so Tuesday night, Todd LaPierre reached out to me, who runs the Orlando Note Closures Group. I said, "Hey, Scott, would you like to speak? We can adjust our meeting to have you in town." I was like, "Yes, I'd love to be there." So Tuesday, September 4th, from basically 6:30 to 9 p.m., we'll be meeting. We'll be talking about some case studies and networking. Todd's done a great job of running this meetup group over the last few months and doing great things. We're excited to see a big record RSVP. I think there's over 50 people already RSVP'd, but you can go to bit.ly/Orlando Note and register. That should take you to the meetup page, or just go to meetup.com and type in the Orlando Note Closures Group and be able to register. But there's literally, I think, 50 plus RSVP'd as of just a few minutes ago. Like I said, Todd LaPierre is doing a great job of hosting this meetup group on there. It looks like it'll be the largest meetup group of that type there for you on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I will be going to the Central Florida generic meetup group out there, the big real estate investors meetup group, but love to network with local note investors there in Orlando and Central Florida as well. It looks like we may be actually hosting this instead of the normal bar that only holds about 15 to 20 people. Be moving it to the paperstack.com offices. So big shout out to Brett Berkey, TJ, and Rick over there. Rick Allen and TJ Oshman saw that we were probably going to be a little tight looking for a spot, and they volunteered their offices up. So their offices, you want to take note, is off 300 South Orange Avenue, Suite 100 in Orlando, Florida. So as of right now, it's probably where we're going to be at. If that changes, if we go beyond what they can hold, if we get another 20 or 30 people, we'll move it to a different hotel and have everybody there. But refreshments will be provided, beer, wine, probably some sandwiches and snacks as well for everybody. So mark your calendars. There is no cost for this event. This is a free event for everybody to attend. And we look forward to having you out there next Tuesday night. Like I said, case studies and some networking. Looks like we got some questions pop up or comments. Sean Stone, anybody else in the room? Yeah, everybody. There's a lot of people here in the room. We got about, besides the people watching online, 80 something plus on there right now. We'll probably have you over 100, 150 before we get rock up. There we go. But anyway, we've got some great updates and deals that I want to make you guys aware of. We got some really great stuff that we're rolling out here in the next 2 weeks. Really would love to get your help on things. If you guys are looking for deals direct to your phone, or you're looking for text message alerts like the 30-minute notice of the webinar, tonight's webinar, or hey, we've got some alert to, hey, we've got a class kicking off soon, or a special sale or special discount for people out there. Would love to have you opt into our We Close Notes text message family, our online phone family. So if you'll text the word notes, NOTES, doesn't matter if it's capital or lowercase, just the word notes to 72000, you'll get a reply back. Yes, you'll have the opportunity to opt in and get over 80 hours of note training and webinars we've done. But more importantly, be in our system so that we can send you a message out direct to your phone. Hey, here's a deal that we're working on, or hey, here's a deal that's available for sale, or here's some notes available for you to pick up. It's completely free. There's no cost to join this aspect of it. Occasionally, yes, text message rates may apply. So you may get dinged if you don't have an unlimited text messaging plan. But it's a great thing that we've really been working hard to roll out. And so we are on the final phases of getting this thing rolled out. So initially, we'd love for you guys to get opted into the network, into our text messaging network. so that we can notify you, like I said, updates, classes, webinars, special discounts, deals direct to you. So love for you to join us there. Like I said, it's completely free. Any questions, comments about that? Awesome, Sean. Just sent the text. That's awesome. Great. Yeah. Notes to 72,000. It'll text back there when you opt in with your first name, last name, email. It'll send you a link for a basic note presentation, and then also a link to our WeCloseNotes.tv video so you can download and watch those at a later time. Glad to have you opted in for that. Hey, Blake, good to see you, buddy. Great visiting with you this last weekend as well. So let's get to the point. Let's get to the Back to the Future investing. We had a lot of people who really enjoyed my presentation Saturday afternoon. A lot of people, I guess, were talking about some of the things I shared. And so I thought, what an easy way to kill two birds with one stone is talk about this again on Monday night. For those of you that didn't make it out to the Dallas Quest Expo, and or we're busy visiting versus being in the room listening. Okay. As always, guys, it's being recorded. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be glad to try to answer as best as we can. I'm just kind of pulling up your. Hang on a second here. Thanks. I appreciate it. Joe Tonka says, so sorry I missed out. Looking forward to attending in December. Yep. We'll see you there. Bud Salmon, look forward to visiting with you tomorrow. Bud, thanks again for the comment there on Facebook. Note Camp Weekend is always awesome. Nothing but content. That's awesome. I'll throw this up here so I can best try to answer questions as we get rocking and rolling through this. But anyway, I like to ask everybody, when I was in Dallas, I asked everybody, what would you do differently? Okay, where you're at today, if you could go back in time, say 10 years, go back to 2008 at the start of the crazy mortgage debacle that we had 10 years ago, and do some stuff differently. What would you do if you go back in time? What would you do differently? Would you be buying different assets? Would you be investing in differently things? You think about it, all the stuff that's popped up. I mean, literally the note market, the number one note market is completely different than what it was 10 years ago. It was a little Wild West back then. We didn't have a lot of things that we have today that's been built up in the last 5 or 10 years, okay? It's been a beautiful thing seeing a lot of these things, because it's gotten a lot easier to find deals than it was when I started back just dialing for dollars, okay? Question is, what would you buy? Would you look at things a little bit differently? If you could go back in time and start it all over again, all right? What would you avoid? Are there some friendships you would avoid? Some of you guys would probably not be married to the people that you're part of. Some of you have come and gone through divorces or relationships in the last 10 years, right? Okay. If you're having trouble with things down below, just give it a second, and maybe you're timing out on the stuff, but we'll get back to that later on, okay? I should be able to see it, and I'll send you a link to get these rock and rolling. Don't worry about it. The biggest question I'd like to ask you guys, what opportunities would you take advantage of? What opportunities would you take advantage of if you could go back in time 10 years? All right. Like Huey Lewis, got to get back in time, right? What would you do differently? Think about that for a second. Now, with me, I don't think I would do much differently in the last 10 years, but I've always talked to a lot of people that they went through a really tough time. They're having a hard time finding notes, or if they knew what they knew now 10 years ago, they would do things a little bit different. They wouldn't go into the fix and flip game. They would go into the note game. Dan Devin says, I would have bought more Amazon stock. That's funny. Right? Yeah. Amazon or more Bitcoin. You think about, I think about the old cartoon of Scrooge McDuck having there's an episode where he flew back in time and he, bought all this stuff, whether it was coal or gold or diamonds were growing, and, gone back in time to do that, which would be great. But the thing that you keep in mind is, if you think about this, whether you believe it or not, history does repeat itself. Okay. Joe Tomko, that's funny. 10 years ago, with the knowledge I have now, I'd track you down sooner for training or to work for you to learn more faster. That's funny. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have found me. I was kind of going under the radar. I started buying stuff. We had a mortgage company I'd just walked away from, and was doing deals. He wouldn't have been able to find me too much. Maybe on Facebook was around for a little bit, but I was not the same guy that I am now. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 10 years. It's been exciting. We've had our ups and downs just like anybody else, but it's been an amazing roller coaster ride. And the thing to keep in mind is, if you look back in history to see what's going on, like I said before, history repeats itself. And that's one of the things that we always try to look at. What are some signs of upcoming problems? So one thing that we all have and share is that we all have 24 hours a day. Yeah, all right, 24 hours in a day. Okay. 24 hours a day, 365 days in a year, 12 months, whatever it is, that's all equal to us. Okay. And we all have to take advantage of the opportunities that provide us. Now, some of us don't take advantage of opportunities. Some of us just like, oh, I'll wait, or I'll pray on it, or I'll wait for my ship to come in. Well, your ship has often come in and gone. So we all need, I like to joke about, because the movie, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies. And I love the storyline, the 1, 2, and 3. One's obviously the best one, I believe. But the storyline about Marty McFly and having Doc Brown as his kind of mentor. You know what I mean? Somebody he really relies on, his friends with. And you got to love Doc Brown trying to be able to read minds and all the things he does before he, comes up with the idea for the flux capacitor. And we all need a Doc Brown in our lives. My Doc Brown was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Johnson, who made a lot of his money in the RTC days. Okay. And when everything started to hit the fans, he was like, listen, Scott, this is the time to act. You need to get away with quit with the fix and flips. You need to focus on the debt game, because that's where he made a lot of his money. He bought at the right time back in the 1980s, in the RTC days, Resolution Trust Corporation. And for those that don't know about the RTC days, it was in the 1980s. It was a savings and loan debacle. Okay. 747 savings and loans failed, 450 billion in loans. All right. We're bad. And then we've also had basically that happen again, 2008. 2010, you had the bank meltdowns. 465 banks failed. $700 billion bailout for the banks, right? All right. And the thing to keep in mind is markets change. For some of you guys that are out there chasing apartments right now, like apartments are the most expensive asset out there. 10 years ago, I was seeing a lot of apartment paper at discounts. I was buying paper that some of the gurus were the borrowers on. All right. You have to understand that the market is not the same every time. And I've had to change my focus. When I first started in the note business, I was doing a lot of commercial loans, buying apartment loans, selling them off to the people, taking them down, getting them regentrified, and moving them on. Okay. If you're buying and investing in assets that are at the peak of the market right now, the hottest thing in the market, you are in the most danger of being left out in the cold or going from the black into the red if the market changes 10, 15, 20%. Okay. And that's the thing. Time is equal to all of us. It judges us all equally. You just have to know when to take your opportunities and when to tweak things. Okay. And so let's talk about some of these recent numbers that are popping up in the market right now. Okay. Yeah, I would not be buying multifamily right now because of the fact it's overpriced and there's nowhere to go except to go down. Okay. So we look back at some of the recent numbers. 2010 to 2015, there was 15 million homes underwater. Okay. In 2010. All right. May of this year, literally just a few months ago, there are still 4.5 million homeowners still underwater. That's still basically about a third, just under a third of those are still underwater. Heck, 9.1% of homeowners are in trouble. 1 out of 10 of you are in trouble out there, everybody. You're either underwater or you're behind on your mortgage. Now, underwater, I'm not talking about like Houston when it floods half an inch where it floods. I'm only talking about where people owe more on their houses than what their house is worth. There's still a tremendous amount of borrowers across the country that are upside down. Literally, 713,000 homeowners owe at least twice as much on their house than what it's worth. That's a scary number. All right. 739 homeowners own twice as much on their home as it's still worth. Basically 1 out of 11 of you are in trouble. Okay. And that's still to this day. Okay. The national default rate still at 3.25. It's the lowest it was as of Q2 2018. So literally at the end of June, but in the last 2 months, that has started to tick up. So July of this month literally marked an 11% increase in defaults over last year's numbers. Does that mean we hit our bottom or bouncing back up with defaults? I think that does. I definitely think it does. Especially you look at things, and I'll give you an example. There's the map of the delinquency rate on single-family residential mortgages, okay? And down here at the bottom, 3.25, Q2 2018. All right? But it's going to pop back up. It's next time you see this map, there should be an uptick. Is that scary? I think so. But what goes into that? Well, the foreclosure rates, like I said, 11% increase over June of last year. We've been increasing that for the first time in a long time. Florida is still leading the way at 9%, and Texas is actually second at 6.8% in default rates. Okay? That's scary because part of it has to deal with the hurricane effect. We can thank Hurricane Harvey for a big chunk of that. But that's not the only thing that's driving foreclosures across the country. There are a lot of other states that are in trouble out there. You have Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, West Virginia, Indiana, Nevada. And that's just a scary thing. Okay. I've seen some of the comments out here. It's kind of funny. Beth Hill, good to see you. Love the mastermind. Talk to you later. Jason Bible says, ask Dell when the last time he bought an asset. I would check with him, though. He was in cash. Thought he was just in cash. Exactly. I think that's right. And Keith Penning says, I talked to B of A last week, and they told me they only have 6 ARIA homes in the country. Where are they? They have a whole lot more than just 6, Keith. There's a lot of defaults out there. Banks have ARIAs. Banks have nuts. They're just not there. Todd LaPierre, we're starting to see slight upticks in foreclosure here in Florida. Now, the thing is, the reason that I like judging Florida and Texas, Florida is not the longest foreclosure time frame like it was a few years ago. I mean, it's still a lot less than New York and New Jersey, but Texas is a faster foreclosure state, fastest in the nation. Okay. And those are 2 states that I compare default rates to. I start watching it. Yes, it takes longer for Florida to foreclose, but Texas is pretty fast. So when you have economists out there and people that track it, and they say, oh, nationwide, it's like that, you really have to look at on a state-by-state basis, because literally what's happening in Florida is literally 6 to 12 months ahead of the rest of the country. Their foreclosure started 6 to 12 months ago before they hit, whereas Texas could be 90 days. Okay? So when I see numbers like this, yeah, I pull out the whole Great Scott, start flipping out, because I see opportunity, but I also see things to be concerned about. They don't sell all non-performing. And guys, let's stay on track here, everybody. If you don't mind me, do me a favor. Stay on track where we're at in the webinar. We can talk about individual questions later on. We can talk about other things as we get rocking and rolling too, as we get later in this. There's plenty of time for Q&A. But let's stay on track where we're at here for you, okay? But this is when you look at these foreclosure rates and things like this, this is some of the things that start to drive me a little increase. They start to drive me a little concerned out there for the market. Now, I like notes because we still picking stuff up at 50% of value or less. And it allows for us that if things do drop 10, 15, 20% or more, we're still sitting okay. But a lot of investors out there, a lot of homeowners are overpaying for property. And they're going to end up taking it on the chin, taking it in the shorts when they end up having to foreclose when the market turns south. So, as I like to joke, it's not really a joke. I almost consider it like the Big Short all over again. And why that? Why is it like that? Well, if you've never seen The Big Short, it was written by Michael Lewis. He's the author of The Blind Side. He also wrote Moneyball. He also wrote Flash Boys. Great book. I highly encourage you all to go read it. If you're not a big reader, go watch the movie The Big Short with Christian Bale and Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling, and Steve Carell in there. It's a great movie, and we're starting to see things pop up again. Whenever you start seeing signs like these signs, 100% financing for first-time home buyers, or we'll donate the down payment from the bank. Sorry, okay? Donate down, we'll share the down payment, okay? Or you start seeing 5-1 or 7-1 adjustable rate mortgages popping back up again. They've been around for a while. It's not just something new. These have been around for the last couple of years of some of these programs, okay? I would say he is one of the better artists or better authors out there. Exactly right. Somebody just said that. One day out of foreclosure, we'll give you a loan. One day out of bankruptcy, we'll give you a loan, okay? We can get you a loan at 500 FICO scores. When I was a mortgage broker, I was seeing stuff from like New Century and Option One Mortgage, and others that were doing like 500 FICO scores, 520 FICO scores. Oh, on an investor style loan, we'll give you 65, 70% of the dollar of the loan value or the market value. And so for some investors, that's great because they're pulling their capital out. Others, you're giving people loans that should not have a loan. People should not be home buyers if they have a 500 FICO. Okay? That's what you've got to realize. I want to say thanks to all those that are watching. Hey, Levi. Hey, Karen. Good to see you again. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Sarah. Great job this weekend at Quest. Whoops, what's my phone doing? There's a lot of things that you've got to keep in mind out there, everybody. All right, when you see things like this, it's downright scary. Ninja loans are back. No income, just job verification, okay? Subprime is now called the new non-prime. They couldn't come up with something original. They had to recycle, just call it non-prime or non-QM, right? But there are a lot of actually these programs given in all 50 states. It started off with 12 states like 2 years ago, and that program worked well. They're rolling it all out. And non-prime or subprime loans works well in an increasing market, but when that market turns south or starts to soften up and you start seeing values dip or sales price dip or days of market increase, those are things you've got to keep your eye on so that you can make sure you're making the right decisions when it comes to either buying or selling or getting out of the market into cash or looking like I like buying non-performing notes. Okay. And I'm just going to throw out just a few of the different companies out there. Maybe some of you guys have seen some of these companies. These are just a few of the lenders out there doing some of this crazy stuff. There's literally 89 different lenders. I think there's 90, 95 I've seen of doing stuff, 100% financing, different ARM loans, low FICO scores. It's not the tip of the iceberg. It's just more and more. This is just, I mean, literally these 15, 16 companies, whatever I have up here, just a drop in the bucket of the ones that are starting to come on board. And you have these guys and people that have owned these big subprime mortgage companies getting back into the business. And they're not doing it with a bank. They're literally doing it out of their own funds because they can take and create these mortgages. And you know what they're selling them to? They're selling them all to Wall Street again. They're selling them all to Wall Street and wrapping them all up into big bundles and selling them all off and then walking away. And is that a recipe for success? I don't know. It could be. When you see default rates going up, when you see people getting loans that should not get loans. Now, is it a 6 month, a 12 month? Is it a 2-year time frame? I don't know. I do know, though, that this cartoon from 2008 is probably going to reappear again. More foreclosures, more things flooding Wall Street. The foreclosure tsunami is what they called it in 2008, 2009, 2010. Are we going to see that happen again? Possibly. Will it be as extreme as it was then? I hope not. But I hope we're smart enough to adjust some things. Lisa says, but Scott, it's different this time, right? Yeah, it's not any different. It's not any different at all. When you start, it's not different at all. That's so funny, Lisa, you would say that, but you're exactly right. It's not going to be any different. They like to say, oh, we're going to be different. No, they're not. They're just putting a different, slapping a different label on the same bag of shit. Okay? The same bag of shit. Now, the thing is, you keep in mind here, I'm not trying to come across negative. I'm trying to say is it's important to know these signs so that you can take advantage of this and really not only capitalize, but help people out as well. All right? Help yourself, help others out. That's the beautiful thing I love about non-performing notes is able to help people out of things. Okay? You have an opportunity to come in and really do something good to make America great again. But I like literally, it's like betting on the past. If you remember in Back to the Future 2, Marty went into the future to see his kids, and he picked up a sports almanac that gave him 50 years of results of sporting events. And of course, Biff, it fell into the hands of Biff, and Biff made his fortunes for Back to the Future 2. It was a big pain in the ass. Well, you have to know what's going on. It's literally like I say that right now, if you've seen these signs, it's 10 years repeating itself. History is repeating itself, and you have the opportunity to cash in and be smart about it. Laura Blanc, you are 100% correct. good market or a bad market, if you're giving loans to people with a 500 FICO, there are going to be foreclosures. That is so right. Foreclosures are not going to go away. Default to paper is not going to go away. It has risen up to where it is in the last 10 years, and it's going to be around. We're still at a 4.5% default rate. 4.5% default rate on 17 million mortgages either originated or refinanced is a lot of paper for people to be buying. A lot of distressed debt out there still across the board. Now, don't call me up and say, hey, I want to buy Bank of America loans or the Wells Fargo or Citibank. Those guys have stuff and they sell that stuff off in big tranches still, okay? Or they move them to offshore entities, okay? There's still plenty of opportunity with the 4,700 different lending institutions out there. So let's talk about where we find these deals. We always find these deals at banks and hedge funds and servicing companies who are servicing loans for smaller investors or smaller companies. Auction websites have distressed debt. Mortgage bankers have stuff on their warehouse lines. Private sellers like you and me and a bunch of other people here on the call tonight, okay? Jack says, I lived through 2008 also. Hard lesson to learn. Yeah, Jack. And we've known each other since before 2008. There's a lot of things that happened in the last 10 plus years, my friend. It was a hard lesson for some, okay? Let's talk about some of the things, though. With a lot of stuff that we're seeing out there, 90% of the inventory that we're seeing there is still below $150,000 in values. All right? When you buy the note, you step directly into the bank's shoes when buying the non-performing notes. You have all the same rights that the bank does, but you often, being an investor, you often have a little bit of flexibility because you are boutique in size. 85% of loan mods fail from banks. And we had over 3 million loan mods done with the Home Affordability Modification Program, okay? Most of the loan mods fail within the first year. Why is that? Well, the reason for that is the banks don't forgive principal. They do fuzzy math. They just interest rates down, okay? Waiting for that time to come back and bring the values back up before they forgive anything. But the beautiful thing is you got somebody that's staying in a house, take care of the house, which is great. But the reason these loans are failing now and have been failing for the last year or two, and we're starting to see more and more of them, is all the banks did was adjust the interest rates, like the 2%. Well, after 5 years, they adjusted to 3, 4, 5%. You have people that now their mortgage payment is doubled and tripled. They can't afford that. But you've got somebody who's got some pride of ownership, who's been taking care of the house. Those are people I'm glad to help. Okay. Pricing ranges on these assets, these non-performing notes, from 25 to 75%, depending on the market, depending on the foreclosure time frames, depending on the value. There's a lot of moving numbers with it. I always find it funny. I had a lot of people come up to me Friday or Saturday and Sunday. It's like, I want to buy in Texas. I'm like, well, I expect to pay 70%. Well, you said 25. I said it ranges depending on the market. It ranges depending on the market. Texas is still a premium. California, oh my gosh, I don't buy in California. California is just land of fruits and nuts. Well, with all the droughts, the fruits dried up, and just a bunch of nutty people out there overpaying for stuff. Okay. The beautiful thing is you do have a variety of exit strategies to help people out, help borrowers out in their time of need. Okay. We truly can make America great again, one mortgage at a time. All right. Hey, what's up, Jeff Wolf? Glad that you made it home safe, buddy. And like I said, our biggest goal as note investors, for those of you that are familiar, is to keep people in their home. Our goal is not to try to rehab the property. Yes, you have to make an offer based on the property value, but our goal is to rehab the borrower, okay? Rehab the borrower. But if the borrower is not willing to work with us, they're not going to work with us in some form or fashion, the whole saying, you know pay, you know stay, comes into fruition, okay? Someone that presented themselves as a note person at a seminar. Mr. Sanchez, there's a whole variety of different ways. Depends on the states that you're in. Foreclosing depends on what the status is it performing or non-performing. There's multiple types of notes. So let's bring that question back up later on, okay? Because some people are just performing. Others are seconds. Others are first. So some are just owner finance notes, okay? So it just varies, okay? We'll cover this later on, not right now. Stay on track, buddy. Stay on track before I put you out. So let's talk about the different strategies you can do. You can wholesale a note. If you can buy it and put it under contract, you can wholesale the note off to somebody else. A lot of people like to do that to start off with. You can reinstate the note. Get the borrower to start paying on time again. That's the whole thing. Hey, I know you've not paid for 2 years. Let's get you start paying on time. Let's get you reinstated We'll worry about the 2 years rearage in the back end. 3, can't afford what you were paying. Let's worry about modifying the loan. Do we need to drop the interest rate? Do we need to drop the principal after a while of what you owe? Do we need to drop the payment down? Okay. You can always do a loan assumption as well. That's something a lot of people forget about. We often will have borrowers come in, especially the elderly or people that can't afford it. They've gone through a divorce or something, where they get their kids, their brothers, their sisters, their parents, or their niece, nephew, somebody come in to take over the loan payments. We allow that as an exit strategy with what we do in the business. Get a cash payoff. This happens from time to time. We got one that's working on right now. They basically came in and say, hey, I knew a cash payoff just the other day. We're pretty stoked about that. So, we picked up something at a nice price, and the borrower's going to come in. We're giving them a little bit of a discount because we do cash payoff, but it's a beautiful thing. Short sales. I am the fastest short sale negotiation company in America. I joke about this, but the thing is, if we buy a note at a discount, the borrower still owes the full amount. If the borrower wants to sell the property, great. Let's see what they were going to net at on the HUD or the closing documents, can compare that to what we paid for the note and our expenses, and we can approve things pretty relatively quickly. I'm excited. We've got a short sale expert going to be on tomorrow on the Note Close Show podcast. Melody Medley is going to be on, who's out of Dallas, does a lot of short sales up that neck of the woods. She's an expert with quite a few years of experience. We're excited to have her on to talk about what's going on in the short sale market these days. Okay. If the borrower just wants to walk away from the property, we're willing to let them do that. Deed in lieu, cash for keys. If there's a second lien on the property, we're willing to do consent for the judgment to help speed up the foreclosure on that second lien. But unfortunately, about half the time, we're still going to end up foreclosing. All right. We have if somebody gets reperforming and they've paid on time for a few months, 6 to 12 months, we can resell the performer note. There's a lot of people buying that want performing notes in their portfolio. They don't want to do all the work, but they'd rather gladly put it into their IRA. Like I said before, number 9, we still end up foreclosing about half the time. It adjusts. It depends on where it's at and what's going on. Okay. And then 10 is if you're going through a deal here and you want it to get reperforming and the bar is not going to be, you have to foreclose, or you want to take the property back. You don't want a low balance or a low ROI on a reperformer or something like that. Depends on the strategies. You can always sell the note to other note investors. Okay. And remember, we talked about where do you find these deals? Well, you find them from other investors. You find them from other banks, servicing companies. There's a lot of people out there that are buying debt for their portfolio, that are buying and selling often. We are buying and selling on a pretty constant basis out there. Okay. And so like I like to say, there's more than one way to get this engine rocking and rolling, to get it started, to get your batteries charged for what's going on in the industry. There's a lot of different ways to make money, and you can pull your niche out of the hat. Now, what's funny is that there's people, I guess, at the expo yesterday on a panel that I skipped at the very end to get home, and most of them were performing note investors, and they were bashing on non-performing. That's great. You go ahead and keep bashing on non-performing stuff. We'll keep buying it, getting it worked out, and selling the performing notes to you at a much higher yield and making some good stuff. So most people out there, which is funny, when you go to an expo or a RIA meetup, a lot of people are out there looking for something that looks like this, the ugliest property on the block, something that, like, if you look at a wholesale, say, oh, just $5,000, paint and carpet, it's good to go, right? Well, this property, which has got a little bit of lien on it, they think for $5,000 or $10,000, you're going to magically wave your wand and come back in and do the whole flip this house routine and turn it into something like this. Well, that's not the case. If you're a note investor, you have to think a little bit more big picture. I'm not talking individual assets where you can hear the wind whistling through the windows. What I'm talking about is more so on a nationwide basis, because there's a lot of opportunity across the country. And there's one number that unites us all as real estate investors. Not ARV, not ITV. I'm talking about ROI. Return on investment is a number that unites us all. It's something we're looking for. But another number that a lot of us should probably be looking at is ROT, a return on our time. Because a lot of us are wasting a lot of money and a lot of our time chasing deals, mailing out a lot of postcards, going out doing door knocking, trying to do those things that are the old school way of doing things when it's the 21st century. Okay, we don't send out postcards to bank asset managers. We drop an email blast out. We jump on Distress Pro or Lane Guide, make a list and drop it all out and literally just market like a machine. It doesn't have to be that difficult. You use sources that are sending you not just one lead, and then you got to go out and keep fishing, but literally send you lists of notes on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. Okay. And these assets aren't all ugly, beat to hell. A lot of them are bread and butter assets across the country. Remember what I said earlier on, that 95%, or really 95% of the inventories are valued at $150,000 or less. These are homes. These are actual homes in our portfolio that we've picked up. Most of these we've actually driven by, actually. All right. Most of these we have driven by and taken a look at, or had a realtor drive by, and we're pretty happy. We picked these up at well below 50% of value, and we've got a lot of flexibility of getting the borrowers to work with us on these. And so many real estate investors, when they get into real estate, they start off like a puppy. They're so excited. Oh my God, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a CEO of a one-man show. And after a few months of pulling their hair out and submitting out postcards, or they get so upset, they want to kill somebody. If this is not going to work, I need to find something else. Oh, this doesn't work, I need to find something else. If this doesn't work, I need to find something else. This doesn't work, I'm going to pay another 20 grand, 15, 20, 30, 40 grand to some guru, some national guru who's running around, who's going to say it works, what I do, that what he does or she does is going to work in my market. And that's not the case. Notes work in a variety of states, in a variety of cities. They don't work everywhere. Like, I haven't bought a note in Austin, Texas in a long time. Okay. A non-performing bank note, because most of the time it's over. I haven't bought anything in California in quite a few years. That doesn't mean there aren't opportunities in other parts of the United States. Okay. Some of you guys love the whole shining yay, nay, right? So a lot of real estate investors, when they start off, they're like, what the hell am I going to do? I feel a little crazy out there. Well, the beautiful thing about note investing is that there are plenty of vendors out there to help you with your business. You're not doing this by yourself. You're not a one-man show that doesn't even have time enough to brush his hair or shave, okay? Beautiful thing, like this is the last event with Quest IRA. A lot of people worry about money. Hey, there's plenty of private investors out there, like at Quest IRA, other places, okay? All right. You're looking for deals that are upside down. We help you find those deals. All right. We help you find those direct from the banks. We help you find the realtors to go out and take photos to pull values of the property. We help you with looking at the title with Pro Title USA, which is one of our vendor, to help you with the O&E reports to see what's clogging up title, the ownership names, that kind of stuff. Servicers, Madison Management is the company that we use. They help you with the day-to-day the borrower reach out, making sure the paperwork is taken care of properly, as far as what's the borrowers getting their statements, the borrower outreach, because most of you should not be reaching out, okay? And of course, those that you've got to take the foreclosure, hey, we help you with the attorneys. We help you with the attorneys to help you have to find those attorneys in each state that can foreclose or file a bankruptcy claim or do what they need to. Look, it's literally, there's plenty of vendors out there that are paid to help you get things closed, okay? And the beautiful thing is, once you get rock and rolling and you get your systems in place and get your vendors in place, you're like, why didn't I start this earlier? No more landlording. No more dealing with toilets, tenants, and trash outs. No more dealing with these crazy wholesalers. I can become the bank and be smiling while I'm sitting courtside. I can do this from anywhere. I don't have to go by and chase down the contractor. I don't have to chase down my GC, the tile guy, the plumbing guy. I don't need to do that being a note investor. You can do what you want to do. You can invest in areas that you want to invest. All right. That's the beautiful thing about being a note investor out there and taking advantage of the things that are popping up in the market, because there's opportunities, whether people are get scared. All right. Here's Johnny's right. All right. So I like to say that you don't need your DeLorean. You don't need a time machine to go back in time and what would I should have done back then. All right. You can learn from the last decade's mistakes. The bankers have made mistake and start capitalizing now. All right. You don't need a flex capacitor. You don't need some plutonium. You don't need to freaking battle it out with the Libyans. They're trying to kill you. All right. You don't need any of that stuff in today's market. If you pay attention to what's going on and the signs that are repeating themselves, you can really, really, really capitalize and realize that the future is now. The future is now. If you're want to be a note investor, now's the time to capitalize. Now, I talked to people this weekend like, oh, I've been a hard money lender for years. I got a nice portfolio. I don't want to work that hard. That's fine. You don't have to work that hard. You have your own niche of the note investing game. That's fine. Stick to where you're at. And somebody said earlier, oh, it's a lot of work. It can be a lot of work depending on where you're located at. Part of the deals. Yeah, if you get a lot of assets coming at one time, it's going to take some work to work through those assets. Okay. But there are vendors help you out there. Okay. You have to realize that there's opportunity. There's going to be a little bit of work. If you're not looking for any work at all, then you probably need to look at performing notes. Go buy some performing. You're going to get somewhere between an 8 and 12% return on your investment. If you want to make a higher return investment, then non-performing is where it's going to be, but you got to put some work in. Okay? And there's some opportunities out there. And that's one of the beautiful things that I love about spending Thursday and Friday with our note mastermind group. These people are out there buying non-performing notes. They're buying these assets. They're working them out. Heck, we had vendors come in from all across the country to help assist them with it. And these people are in 17 states. We got a Canadian investor in there as well. We had our servicing company come out. We had our legal teams come out there. All right. We had asset protection people come out to the event to literally help them with people. We had people come in, had vendors and realtors and other vendors to help them out with O&Es and title work and BPOs. There are vendors out there to help you do this stuff. You're not alone. And the most wonderful thing of all this is it's an amazing network. We got people all across the country there. Texas, Philadelphia, Ohio, Arizona, Kansas, Michigan, Texas, Pennsylvania, Arlington, Virginia, Maryland. Let's see here. Oregon, Denver, New Jersey, Houston, Florida, Ohio. I already said that, I think already. California, people from all across the country coming together to spend some time with each other to help each other out. That's what a true mastermind is all about. People coming together, the common concept to help out. All right. There's opportunities everywhere. There's a lot of people out there that have vendors and experts on their teams willing to help each other. That's the beautiful thing about the non-performing game. So that's really what I have for you tonight on this subject. There's lots of opportunities, guys. There's lots of deals to be found. There's even more deals coming down the pipeline with everything going on. But like I said before, if you're looking for more information on different things, text the word notes to 72000. They'll give you some things to download. You can always check out the No Close Show podcast as well for you. The thing to keep in mind, everybody, is the market is constantly changing. Okay? And each state's a little bit different on foreclosure timeframes. If you don't want to do heavy rehabs, then what you need to be looking at is not buying vacant properties, but buying occupied assets. And then checking the taxes, checking the utilities. Okay? Some states, if you're buying and you have to foreclose, it can take a little bit of a while. Okay? The beautiful thing is, depending on what you want to do, there's a niche for you in the note business. But I guarantee you this, I will tell you this one thing and one thing only. Each one of you are already in the note business. You've got a house payment or a car payment, credit card, student loans, whatever it is. If you're paying on to somebody on a debt, you're in the note business. You're just on the wrong side of it. All right? You're just on the wrong side of the fence, and you need to be on it where you're receiving things. And one of the things we've got going on, guys, like I said before, Note Camp Live, is if you guys are looking for more information, you may want to check this out. 30 experts talking about all different types of subjects within the note business, going through things, answering your questions on foreclosure, bankruptcy, finding deals, raising capital, workouts, exit strategies, asset protection. Lots of opportunities for you to learn what's going on, and you can get a deal directed with the vendor, servicing, foreclosure, whatever it is. We're here to help. So at this time, I wanted to open it up for questions for anybody that has some questions they'd like to ask, and try, as best I can, try to answer those for you guys out there today, because we still got still got 3 figures of people on the webinar tonight. All right. That's some great stuff there. Jack says, before you pull the trigger on a note, have someone put eyes on the property in real time. Amen to that. I tell people that all the time. Do not close on a note deal until you've actually had eyes on a property. You make an offer, you make an indicative offer, initial offering to a bank or hedge fund, they come back with a counter. Don't counter it until you've literally had a realtor or somebody you know whether it's in a mastermind or a realtor or a vendor, drive by the property and put real eyes on it in real time. Last thing you want to do and end up doing is buying a lot or buying a note on the property you think is the right one, and it's actually the asset across the street or next door to it. Laura says, I know you're going to load this video online. Can I share some of your stat slides? Of course you can. Hell yeah. Share away. All right. Go ahead and share away. Feel free. I would not, as I said before, I'm glad to share this with anybody. Our slides are open to anybody that's watching. You use what you want to off of them. Joe Tomko, thanks, bud. Appreciate saying thanks. Good stuff, Scott. Thank you. You're welcome, bud. Guys, history is going to repeat itself. I can tell you that right now. I think we all know that. I think we all see things. I'm not only worried about the default rates and foreclosure rates. I look at other things, like some of the economic factors with this trade war. If we get in, we have people losing jobs. Okay, people losing jobs, or people companies going out of business or laying people off. That leads to foreclosures. That leads to default rates. Okay, I think, and I'm not an economist here, and I studied a little bit of economics in college, a little bit, part of a business degree. But you have to understand that the pendulum swings, and you can't have one side going the other thing without it leaving other things in the background, okay, in its wake. So I will be interested to see what happens the next 6 months on our default rates. It's something I track on a regular basis. I would not be surprised to see an increase in it. I don't think we'll see the default rate go back down. I think it'll either hover right where it's at, but I don't think it's going to fall below 3. I think if anything, it's going to tick up to 4% and go from there. Questions here. Christina, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Okay. George Crocker, thank you, sir. Go out, make some offers, buddy. Chris, as you say that half of any notes you may buy will have to be foreclosed on. Well, what's the best strategy for not to have to foreclose? Not sure this question makes sense. Yeah. I said what I said, Chris, but thank you for asking. Is that about half the notes that we end up buying, we still end up foreclosing on. And I will guarantee you, if you buy a note on a vacant property, you'll have to foreclose 100% of the time. Okay, maybe you'll get deed in lieu, but the thing is, we try to get everything to reinstate as best we can. That's why we focus on buying owner-occupied assets. We call the utilities departments to make sure there's not a big balance. We check the taxes. We try to drive by, make sure it's occupied. We love to offer up modifications. We'd love to keep everybody in their house if we could, but unfortunately, borrowers don't want to read their mail. People don't want to start paying again. So you still end up foreclosing. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We start the foreclosure process so we can keep the feet to the borrower's, the fire to the borrower's feet to get them to do something. A lot of times, hey, the borrowers will just sign the property over for a cash for keys or walk away. Foreclosure is just going to happen, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. A lot of times we'll sell the actual asset at the foreclosure auction to an investor, so we don't take the property back. But that's the thing, is if you're a note investor and you want to make a business out of it and really make it where it's happening, you're going to focus on 2, 3, maybe 4 markets the most, assets that have inventory, and build your teams and just rinse and repeat. You're going to stay vanilla. Anytime you start getting outside of your market, I'm going to go do this weird asset, it's much more expensive, or I'm going to have OTSC syndrome. Oh, that's so cute syndrome. Okay? Or I'm going to do some weird ass project. You start getting in trouble. And there's a lot of other brighter investors than me along the way would agree to that. All right. So that's the thing. If you want to try to avoid foreclosure, you're going to buy owner-occupied assets where they've made a payment usually in the last 12 months, something where you can call to check the utilities and making sure that it is in good shape, not trashed out, and checking taxes haven't wiped you out. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Chris. If this is your first time on Note Night in America, I'd love for you to leave a little comment. Hey, first timer. I noticed some new names on here tonight. So I'm sure so many guys are coming over from the Propelio meetup groups, which is awesome. So many guys that we met in Dallas, or so many guys that we met in San Antonio. Glad to have you as well. Okay. Phil asks, are discount rates consistently about 70% throughout Texas? Yeah, pretty much throughout Texas. You're going to see somewhere in the mid-60s to 70s most of the time, just because it's a faster foreclosure state and the values are held. I just asked because of the first few deals, I couldn't afford to get in a position where I would have to foreclose. Well, Chris, that's probably the case for using all your own money. I would be using other people's money, be going and raising capital and buying properly. If you're buying at 50% on the dollar, a fair market value or less, if you're buying in the $40,000, $50,000 range, you've got some flexibility there. That's why it's important to do your due diligence. It's why we teach this. That's why we teach proper due diligence. Just go out and take somebody's word for it, because there are people out there sell assets. Oh yeah, we've done everything. Take my word. And if somebody says take that my word, you have to be very careful. Okay. Phil, hey buddy, awesome. Hey Brian, thank you, bud. Okay. Yep, those guys do a great job over at Propelio. Okay. Stephanie Goodman says, love all the feedback. I love the feedback as well. It's awesome too. Hey, Nathan Piper. Hey, Anthony Uva, New Jersey. Good to see you, buddy. Steve Vigil, good to see you. Who else out here? Chris, you're welcome. Thank you. Clifton Sadler, buddy. Good to see you. You mind if I email you a couple of flyers and deals we're working on? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Send those over to me. I'll try to get to them tomorrow. It was kind of a slower day in the office here, just because of the fact we got in late and really just kind of worn out. So I didn't do much today except kind of the podcast, getting some things lined up, and this for you guys tonight. Patrice asks, is properties vacant and you have to foreclose? No, you don't have to foreclose, Patrice. If you can contact and track down the borrower, often they can sign the property over to you and you can deed or cash or key it. Okay. But you're not going to probably, very rarely, you're going to have anybody move back into the house and take over payments again on a vacant property. Very rarely going to have that happen. Okay. Rebecca, thanks for second time for checking in. Great session. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rebecca Romero. Casey says, I feel so busy. I feel like a first timer. That's funny. Okay. Let's see. Anonymous Attendee says, I have a note in rural Missouri that the buyer decided to throw in the towel. I'm not sure the servicer is good. What are my options? Well, first of all, I would not have bought in rural Missouri. That's just the big thing there. But if the buyer decided to throw in the towel, I'm not sure who the servicer is good. What are my options? I'm not understanding. Is this a note that you own where the borrower just walked away? If that's the case, then what I would do is literally start the foreclosure. Missouri is a faster foreclosure state, roughly about 90 on 20 days. Start foreclosing on that. Turn around and sell it. See if you can't sell it to another investor. Rural Missouri is a bit of a kind of ambiguous or anonymous area. So, Lisa, great tonight. Many thanks. You're welcome, Lisa. You're welcome, Patrice. Chris says, one more thing. Would you recommend using a PLOC to start doing deals? Personal line of credit? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, you can use your own money, but you might as well market and raise some private capital and use some of the other people's capital and save your line of credit for foreclosure costs or other things that pop up or any OOs. Okay. Another thing, if you guys are buying rural vacant property, it's often going to need the AC replaced because that's probably gone on a walkabout, or the copper goblins have showed up to strip the copper and the electrical out of the walls. Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We got a question popped up there. Yes, personal line of credit. It doesn't hurt there, Chris, to use your personal line of credit. I just make sure you keep marketing. The biggest mistake that I see real estate investors make is they use their own money and they never market for private capital. And then what happens is they end up running out of their own funds and they sit there twiddling their thumbs or sitting on their thumbs on their hands because they're like, oh, I don't have any more money to go do stuff. I got to wait to sell that stuff. When you should be going out and constantly marketing. Look, I mean, you look at the banks, you look at Buffett, you look at some of these bigger guys, they're constantly raising capital to do bigger deals. That's the way they get ahead. You sitting around just trying to use your own funds for your own limited funds. Now, if you got $1 million, that's a different story. You got $500,000, different story. But if you got less than that, you probably need to be raising capital to take some things down because you can shoot through $250,000 to $500,000 relatively quickly to make some things. But there's always plenty of deals out there. There's a lot of deals if you work smart to find them and you do some of the things that we teach in our workshops or some of the things we teach at Note Camp 6.0 popping up. So once again, guys, it's a comment here. Go to notecamp.live. It'll allow you to register there. They'll automatically adjust the $5.99 price down at closing to $299.50. And once you get registered, we'll throw you into an online base camp group so you can start networking with the other hundreds of other note investors out there. All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up for the evening? We're coming on right on an hour here. Okay. It's amazing what a good night's sleep in your own bed will do for you because I feel a little bit more perkier. I feel a whole lot more perkier now than I did this morning. So if you're cash poor and credit poor, is credit rich and cash poor, then go raise some damn capital. Go out and start talking. Okay. Go out and start networking. Go out and start talking to people. Go to Real Clubs, Chris. Quit letting your shortcomings affect your business, because there's $7 trillion in private money out there waiting to be spent. It's sitting there not making anything. They're waiting, begging for somebody to come offer them a deal. So go find a damn deal, Chris. Go find a good deal, and money will find your good deal. I promise you on that. Okay? Keith Collins, good to see you in Ohio. Congratulations to you closing on 2 notes this week. That's awesome, man. Great job to you and Lisa. Great catching up with you there in Ohio. Okay? All right, everybody. Well, hey, that is going to wrap it up for this evening. Once again, if you're out in Orlando, Central Florida area, drop me a message or go to the Orlando Note Closers group. Check out the event there. There's roughly, I think, right at 50+ people RSVP'd for next Tuesday's night's meetup. It's going to be a fun networking, case studies, and just kind of having a good time in Orlando and getting a chance to network with everybody. But other than that, have a great week. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the long Labor Day weekend. And hopefully we'll see you all at the top, either in Orlando on Tuesday or the following Monday as well. But once again, don't snooze. Take advantage of this half-price discount on NoteCamp 6.0 at notecamp.live. Otherwise, have a great day, great week, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody.